I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is all the mods tin to the sky. Yes, episode 30, and today is going to be a pretty big one as we have a major boss to take on. But I did want to mention today is also World Download Day, it being episode 30. Every 10 episodes, I publish a world download, and you can find that over on the Discord, and you gain access to it if you're a supporter of any tier, no matter what platform you support me on, and no matter what amount. So thanks to all of my supporters, I really do appreciate you guys. You make episodes like this possible, and I couldn't do it without you. And let's get on with this dragon fight. Back to all the mods tin to the sky, and I tell you what, we've got a big boss to battle today. The Chaos Guardian, yes, the boss that I do dread, but I think that we have prepped ourselves up enough to be able to take this boss out, and it won't be as bad as I think. I did say I think. Now, real quick, I want to interject. I just wanted to ask you guys, so far, what has been your favorite part of this series? I would really love to hear from you down in the comments below, especially since now we've made it to episode 30. All right, let's get on with the rest of the video. Now, if you've missed the last few episodes, I have been prepping things up, and I now deal significant amounts of damage with this bow. We were able to pull numbers of upwards up to 4,000 DPS with the Draconic bow, while basically being upgraded with Apotheosis, which makes this really powerful by making sure we put an emphasis on arrow velocity across all of our gear. So even on my helmet, I have some gems that are socketed in that give us extra damage bonus to all of our stats, but also more arrow velocity. And these gems are perfect gems that are on here. So just something to keep in mind. That was how we were able to pull off such large numbers. And even the crits on this are dealing like 700 plus damage, easily able to one-shot withers. So this should not be a problem whatsoever because of these two tools right here. But that's not all we have to worry about whenever we fight this Chaos Dragon. No. We have to worry about insta-death. See, there's a mechanic that's a part of the Chaos Dragon that's called the laser beam. And the laser beam, boy, it be laser beaming. And I mean, it will laser beam you right back into reality, because you may think you are absolutely unstoppable until you watch your shield completely deplete, and then you instantly die in a blink of an eye. So how do we prevent this death from happening? Well, inside of our Draconic gear, inside of this piece, we do have a couple of totems per se that could save you from death, but I do have a way of just providing infinite totems to myself, and I'm hoping that this will prevent death. We will pop totems, and we should pop them. That's how it should work. It should pop over and over again, but it should prevent us from dying, I hope. And that's why earlier on in the episodes, I did set the evoker data model up inside of a simulation chamber that was constantly producing these things. Wow, we have a lot of drown predictions in here. But right over here, I have an interface that's constantly supplying the totems of undying. And that we just simply toggle on. And I do have an upgrade in the item transporter that leads into a modular router. And that modular router is linked to me. You can see the owner there. You basically link it by putting it in your crafting grid. It's bound to me, and it is set in here to send to my offhand slot items. And this is going to constantly provide totems of undying. We can see that happening really quickly. I mean, as soon as it goes out, the new one goes right back in. And that's exactly what I need to hopefully stay alive indefinitely. This is a backup plan. Now, we haven't even found the dragon's lair yet, which we are going to go on a search for here in a moment. But I just wanted to make this very clear. There are a lot of preparations that need to be made before you fight this dragon, because you can get completely stranded. And it's about 10,000 blocks out in the end. So you want to make sure that you have all of these things ready to go before you fight this thing. And so for easy transportation back home and back to there, I think just a simple temporary waystone is going to be the way to go. And yeah, waystones are actually in here. This is my first time using them, but this is going to be perfect. We'll set one here temporarily, and then this is the one we're going to set once we actually find the island. We're not going to put it on the island either. That would be bad. So perfect. Now that the preparations are in place, let's just real quickly take a look at what we have going on here. In my Draconic staff, if you want to go ahead and copy this and make the exact same setup, here you go. We have the max speed upgrades in here, and then the max amount that we could fit of the damage modules that are all in here. This is for the Draconic Staff. It is going to net you quite a bit of bonus damage. Now, for the bow, it's a little bit more complicated. Every piece of gear requires the energy module, but this also has a gravitation compensation module, which allows the arrows to not drop as much. And then I have maxed out the projectile velocity with 8 of those installed. And then the rest is damage increases along with the auto fire module, which I think is 100% necessary having this thing in here. And finally, we have our Draconic chest piece. Now, I do have some speed modules because I will want to turn on the speed whenever we get there, and we just have a few, which will give us a bonus of 150. I have 2 of the Undying modules, which are just extra totems that should hopefully protect us, which will most likely pop immediately. And then we have the shield controller, and then we have these large shield capacity modules, and we have up to 5 of those. And then we have a few of the Draconic shield recovery modules, and then I also added even more energy modules to allow us to have more capacity to get power into here to recharge this back up. So yes, lots of things in preparation. And then on top of that, we also have apotheosized, I guess you could say, all of our gear to make sure it is all on Godforged tier or Mythic tier. And this is also very, very helpful. A lot of this stuff, we have +4 levels to existing protection on here. We have more protection existing on here. Protection can be really, really powerful and should hopefully protect us against most of the blasts. And then if it doesn't, of course, our shield is going to take over there. So there's a lot going on here. We are basically kitted out with some really powerful gear. And yes, this Ars gear is very powerful. And I will say that all of this combined, I hope, will help us fight this dragon. Now, the primary tools that we're going to use for actually fighting this thing is the teleportation wand. This is going to allow us to get around pretty quick. We also have the eclipse wand, which will allow us to dash pretty quick as well, which is going to be another movement skill. And this is also bound to a hotkey, so I don't even need to use it. Like, I don't even have to have it in my hand. And then we also have the Draconic Staff of Power, which will be used for destroying the initial crystals once they've taken damage. And then we have our bow, which is going to be used for taking out the dragon and also dealing extra damage to those crystals, which we're going to have to worry about here in a second. I also have the Advanced Dislocator, which could allow us to instantly teleport to a position that will hopefully prevent us from taking damage from the laser. I'll explain that whenever we get to the island. Now, all of this is knowledge that I've gained over the years of the times that I have fought this thing. I have fought it a many of times and many times within mod packs. So not just one time in each mod pack, several times within them. So this shouldn't be too bad for me to take on, especially with the bow that is dealing upwards to 4,000 damage per second, which is a lot, by the way. Now, some other equipment I almost forgot about. I almost forgot about this. I also do have extra health that's coming in from our heart amulet. So it may not look like I have a lot of health, but this is actually rolled over through all of the colors and now has landed back on the green and yellow tier already. So it is already rolled over a full color spectrum on the extra hearts here, just to kind of keep that in mind. I do not have this all maxed out, but I am receiving a lot of bonus health that is added because of my gear. But I will say, I don't even think the health matters that much because the laser will kill you regardless of how much health you have. Oh, and quick note, yes, that laser, yeah, it can also kill you in quantum armor. So if you think you're going to grind out quantum armor to avoid that death, you think again, it will kill you through it. And just in case you were wondering what quantum armor was, yeah, it's what you get for basically completing all of modern industrialization. This thing right here. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. Now let's talk about getting to the island. I'm going to make myself an emerald jetpack. Bam, that was really, really quick. And this emerald jetpack is really going to allow us to fly quickly. And we need this to be able to get to that destination. Another good tip for flying quickly would to also be upgrading your Draconic chest piece and possibly putting temporarily a flight module in there. It allows you to fly pretty quick too. But I think for right now, this is going to go in my backpack slot. I'm going to put my backpack just in my inventory. Wow, if I can talk today. And then we got to assign some hotkeys to this jetpack because I want to be able to toggle it on and off, and also be able to adjust the thrust, the throttle speed of it. And now, after assigning all of the hotkeys, we have some flight. Now, it normally makes sound, but I think there's so many sounds going on in my base that it has essentially broken the sound engine for this. So yes, all of the sounds that the thrusters make are not playing anymore, but you can see how quick this is. This is a very, very quick way of flying, even faster if you don't have the hover mode on. But I'm going to show you some other ways that we can actually get here. Now, finding the dragon, we've essentially got to go to negative 10,000, I think, in any direction. And I believe it's also intersections of 10,000 and 10,000. I could be wrong there, but I do know that I will find it at an intersection of 10,000 and 10,000, or negative 10,000, negative 10,000, and so on and so forth. This all happens in the end. Okay, so we currently have regular flight. This is something that we've got to keep in mind. I do have normal flight, but this boss will actually take normal flight away from you during certain waves. And it can be very, very disorienting. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself yet again. Let's actually get out to that area. So I'm going to toggle on my HUD, my mini map, and I just need to figure out which place do I want to go. So this is north. So if we head out in this direction and we just stay flying in this direction, we should eventually end up close to that coordinate. We'll end up being at what, negative 10,000 here, according to my map. Now, some quick ways that we can teleport around. The Eclipse one has a void shift, which allows me to immediately jump positions. And every time we do this, we're almost jumping about 20 or so blocks. It seems like every time I do this. But we also have the teleport wand, which honestly seems like I'm teleporting faster. And this is all without the jetpack. But if we do it in combination with the jetpack, we could possibly get there a lot faster. I don't know, that jetpack is pretty darn quick. Like, so quick, it's not even loading the area. I don't know, I may just set here with the jetpack. Yeah, I think that's gonna be much quicker. Oh my goodness. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's so fast that the terrain underneath me has not spawned in yet. So we have now basically made it. We're right here, and I believe this is actually the place. Wait, these towers from the Ars thing show up in the end? I didn't even realize that. Wait, these structures show up? That's new to me. I mean, it's an odd place for them to be, but yes, here they are. Anyways, this is the Chaos Dragon, and I don't know how this is going to affect it being in this area like this, maxed out, but essentially we need to get a waystone nearby that's not close enough for the laser beam to hit. And so possibly all the way out here. By the way, I put our bow to be able to instantly take out this thing. Okay, yeah, I think this is fine because we are pretty far out here. So I'm gonna set this end, and that way we have a safety gate to be able to get back. Now, you may notice things are very, very bright here, and that's because I equipped some night vision goggles from Pickle Tweaks, and I think night vision is going to be very helpful so we can make sure we see everything going on. Okay. So as goofy and bug-like as I look, I have to take a deep breath because this is where things get wild. And we are going to need some obsidian. I like to use obsidian whenever I start to do this whole thing. And there's a whole trick to being able to get this all working. So we should be able to get near the center of this. And that should trigger. Yes. It should trigger the boss to spawn. And towers are going to start showing up. This is a wild location, honestly, for this fight to start to take place in. Oh, this is going to be so cool. So cool. All right, so there's the dragon. And then I kind of want to start breaking these and just opening this whole thing up and getting all of these cages open. Now, this attack right here is kind of the attack that we want to use. And this is what's going to allow us to break these crystals just like that. So this is also kind of why we want this to be the way it is. Oh, and this is the laser, by the way. Oh boy. Already, we're a little far away. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm away from it during that phase because I had not prepped up my teleportation for the phase yet. I was not expecting the laser to start so soon. Okay. I think we should be... Okay, the phase is over. I need to figure out a place, which I think I can actually mine down directly into the center here to avoid that laser. It may sound absolutely weird to do this, but there is an open area down under here. If we can get down, yes. And this is actually a pretty good place to avoid the laser. So I can shift right click, and I just set this dislocator here, and then I can just use this to get out. And anytime I hear that phase happening, which is like that womp that starts happening, I can just use the dislocator. Hopefully, just teleport right down there. That's the goal. That is the goal. Oof. And then I hope I can survive the phase while down there. That's going to be pretty nice as well. So here we go again. And honestly, our bow deals so much damage that it instantly destroys the crystal. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Now, I've also heard through the grapevine there's some ways that you can actually cheese this with Just Dire Things, where Just Dire Things can basically swap these crystals out of their position, which does count towards this sort of whole system breaking. But yeah, it would remove the shield. Also, there's a bunch of withers that just spawned. Oh, great. I mean, I'm sure this will be fine, right? Oh, the bow instantly kills them as well. Oh, you gotta love that. A bow that can instantly kill the wither. That's fantastic. Also, this is kind of what we want. We want to be able to get up top here, and the dash actually allows this to happen. We really want to get up there. It's so hard to move during these phases. Look at that, I'm locked in place. So this is where another tactic, there we go, comes into play. We've got to get this to happen. Yeah, honestly, that wasn't too bad. There we go, another crystal blown up. It's just a slow process, kind of just getting all of these to sort of blow up here. Is this the laser? If it pulls you, it's not the laser beam, I don't think. Yeah. It's the one that spawns the withers. You know what? I kind of want to see how the laser does. Okay. Yep. That hurts a lot. That hurts a lot. I've almost got the crystals down and done. There's some phases that do work a little bit better. And like the last round I just had, the dragon was able to do this like 3 different times, and I was able to get like 3 crystals in a row. So some go quicker than others. Oh man, and some of the phases can help. There's a phase that it does like shoot them out sideways, but like this is great. I pop the crystal, and then I think these are the last 3, and then the dragon has no more shield, and then we just get to completely destroy the dragon. I just know the ones that are doing this, that's the one that's the laser beam. If it doesn't pull you, laser beam, run. But here we go. And then we have our last one. Hopefully it doesn't do another phase, and hopefully it just comes after me, and we can take this dragon out. Yes. Beautiful. And there we go. The dragon is without a shield, and now it goes into its shielding phase. That's a laser. So we just got to make sure to get out of the way. Then now with the shield done, we just continue to knock out this dragon shield. Oh man. Slowly. All right. The dragon has gone into a mad rage, and we are now dealing direct damage to the dragon. Direct damage to the dragon. Oh yeah. That's so good. This one, you just got to dodge and weave. Dodge and weave. It's actually quite easy if you have all of this extra equipment in Apotheosis. This has made this so much better. All right. Let's try and finish this guy off. Come on. Just stop already. Oh, almost there. Another wave done. We just want to line this up. Something like this. And just keep at it. Oh, that did a ton of damage. All right. Almost. And oh, it's done. Dragon defeated. And we now have conquered the end. Is there any other boss in the end that is stronger than this one? I don't know. Oh boy. And now our crystal that is underneath here has now been allowed to break. So all we have to do is just use like our Staff of Power, for example, and break this into the shards, making sure we have room in our inventory, magnet on, and we now have 5 chaos shards that can be broken down into large chaos shards, and we've done it. As goofy as we look. Oh man, this is crazy. So you know what? I think this is the first time I've ever fought the dragon and didn't actually die at all. I mean, I think I figured it out now. I think I could do this boss 100 times over and I would not die. I don't even think I need the totems anymore. I feel like I have definitely got the strat down. Yeah, I think the big one is knowing when the laser happens and using the tools that Draconic gives you, like the dislocator, to put yourself in a position where you won't die. So being able to mine down where the crystal's at and just, you know, stay there for a little bit while you wait. Maybe have another dislocator that pops you back to the surface, you know. You can switch between 2 of them. They're super cheap to make. And so, yeah, I mean, these things are pretty darn powerful, allowing you to teleport around. And some would say a little overpowered. But honestly, I have no idea what those people are talking about. It's kind of funny. These teleport you right back to spawn. Or wait, no, they don't. They just teleport you. Oh, they teleport you to the closest crystal. Interesting. But with that out of the way, bam, let's head all the way back home. We have completed the dragon. We got the chaos shards. I can now take the goofy goggles off, and we are ready to put these much more sophisticated looking goggles back on. And we can also get rid of the totems. We don't need these in offhand, because we shouldn't have to fight this dragon anymore. Like, we should be done. But even if we did have to fight this dragon again, we actually don't have to worry about the crystal phase anymore. Because if you have something that deals damage, like a chaotic bow, the chaos bow can instantly break those crystals. So you don't have to rely on the dragon, allowing you to completely skip the phase that requires you to break the crystals, which is very long, by the way, probably the longest process, and go straight to just attacking the dragon. It would be incredibly fast to take the dragon down now. Now that I have these chaos shards, I've got to do something with them to make sure that I have unlimited chaos shards. And that is make the chaos bee. One of the bees that we definitely need to get our hands on, so that way we can constantly have these and not need to do that battle again. I would much rather farm bees than do that battle once more. So we are going to need to break these down and use them to our best ability. So we need draconium bees. This is our first step, which comes from the draconic bees. And it's going to just require some basic materials to get this converted. But our first step is to get some draconic bees. Thankfully, those just quite literally spawn in the end. Just in case you forgot which bees those are, it's the same ones that are technically farming up the draconic dust. A little different kind of dust, the bee draconic dust. And yeah, it's from these bees right here. And so I'm back to leveling this up, getting some of these bees to spawn, capturing them. I also put a stasis chamber here just to kind of stop them, but you can also put like a bee catcher that could also do the same operation. For example, something like this, where you have the catcher down here, you put some things in it, you got some range upgrades in there, and it actually works out pretty decent. Now I've just got to do the whole squeezy bit. Oh, well, unless they get out. Hey, you ain't supposed to get out. You're supposed to take damage to the squeezy bit. Then I get to come over here, add the gene to the treats. And we're going to end up with a few of those. Place the egg in, the treat, and there's all of our draconic bees. Nice. Now, I only get 5 chaos shards from that original crystal, so we need to make sure we leave a extra chaos shard, because the chaos bees, well, they need to use a full-blown chaos shard in order to work. So it's best to probably keep that in my backpack, so the way it's not interacting with anything else. And then all we need to do is start a few crafts to work our way up from these bees all the way in to the next tier. So we got to go into the draconium bees, which is a fusion crafting recipe. Very straightforward. I mean, this is just draconic core, draconic dust, some combs, and we can just probably pull all of this into our inventory. Just these few things. And it is a stair step, by the way. So these will be converted into the draconium bees. Then we've got to take the draconium bees and turn them into awakened, and then bring that all the way up to chaos, which does require chaotic cores and also small fragments. So we've got to keep in mind how much we actually need in order to make chaotic cores. And I should probably automate those at some point too. But now I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and craft our first one of these, which is the draconium core. Draconium bee? Draconium bee. Yes, the draconium bee. Oh boy. That is definitely a bee crafting right here. Yep. We are doing things to these bees. Oh boy. And now we have a draconium bee spawn egg. Now that all those are made, it's awaken time. Yes. By the way, this also requires chaotic tier. And I'm hoping we have enough stuff, because that's one thing. We can go up to these bees, but we do have to upgrade these to chaotic tiers. And I'm hoping I have enough chaos shards to be able to do that. If anything, I'm only going to upgrade enough fusion injectors that are required for this, which would be 8 of them, I believe. Oh boy, this is where we really have to pick our battles, and we have to make sure we balance things out correctly. So now I was starting to panic a little bit. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough to be able to make this, because each of these cost 4 to upgrade the crafter. And then we also are going to need the chaotic cores, but in the quest, we actually get some from the draconic quest, which is kind of nice. Okay, so I will go ahead and grab my rewards here. Beautiful. And then we get 3 more chaos shards after getting our initial 5. Oh, beautiful. So now with our 7, we get 63 that we have, and each of these chaotic upgrades, each of these are going to cost us 4, and we're going to need at least 8, and that'll let me know how many we're left over with. Okay, so that's just to craft up 8 of those, so we're left over with 31, which I think will be enough to get us going, because each of these cores cost 5, and we need 2 per bee. And so I guess we let the fun begin. We take this, and then we upgrade to the chaotic version. We slowly get all of these transferred over. Not all of them. I'm only going to do 8 for right now. So now with all of these upgraded, we can actually craft the bee, but we still need to make the chaos cores. So this is actually a part that's required in the All the Mods Star, is this chaos core. So this is 100% needed in order to be able to complete this. Now, this Autocraft is going to kind of play some tricks on our current system that we have, but I think I have a way that we can fix this and make it actually work. So it's only going to require one thing. And the primary issue that we are going to have, by the way, is with my auto-crafting system that I've set up for this. It kind of will struggle if there are like items that are required in the inside of these injectors, and then also one that's required in the core. So down here, all I need to do is for the one that actually sends into the core, which by the way, that is this cinder card right here. We just need to adjust this card and allow it to regulate what can go into that top slot. And since we only send out one craft at a time, if we regulate it to one item, allow it in there, then the rest of them will go into the injectors. And that is going to be perfect. So to do this with modular routers, there is a very specific card that kind of looks like a calculator, and that is the regulator augment. Yes, this thing is beautiful and is super, super cool for things like this. Now, this is the first time actually making the augments for this. So I'll drop these things in, and we can now craft up the regulator. So this thing is also kind of weird at the same time. We put this in this slot, and then we just need to say, how many of these items do we actually want to only allow into that slot? And for literally everything, it's just 1. And this right here is going to make sure that only 1 item of the item type goes into that crafting slot. And this, I believe, will fix our problem. Now, we might as well add the filter into here. It is going to be a large chaos fragment. That is actually what's required in order to make this, right? Are the large chaos fragments. And then we just need to build our recipe as per normal and put it inside of the pattern provider, and we can auto craft the chaos shards. And whenever we click this, it automatically filled it in correctly. We want all 5 of them to be the first thing that's sent into the barrel, and then it's going to work its way from left to right as per normal. And whenever we put this in, like I said, this should craft it. And like I said, it as well. I keep saying like I said, but it should go into here. All right, so let's try this, and let's fingers crossed it works. This also requires 12 injectors that need to all be at least draconic gear or draconic tier or higher. One of these bad boys, it's saying it's missing the shards because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll throw those in because we do need 2 of them. When we craft it, it put them all in, and there it goes. Like I said, it regulated the one going in here, and that allows this to function now. Oh, that is beautiful. It did craft it up. We do need to craft 1 more. Middle mouse click so I can request 1 more. I'll throw the 5 crystals in, and we are one step away from literally having a bee. Oh, this is so nice to be able to autocraft these. So I'm about to find out. We got to get this small fragment and then awakened bees we have in our inventory. So last but not least, this bee right here, and that gets put into the specific crafters that it's allowed in, and we have ourselves a bee. Oh my goodness. The chaos bee is done, and I must protect this thing with my soul. And we've got to get this routed into our bee area and get it inside of a simulation chamber. I need to make sure, yes, that this is still functioning over here. So if I place this down, it should be fine. Let's get a cage just to make sure, so we can put it into a cage. And there it is. High productivity, dineural, weak. Okay. That's on its endurance, but I mean, it's fine outside of that. Look at that beautiful bee though. Oh goodness. That is one bee right there. I'm going to put this bee right into here. So there's our productivity. Our chaos bee is now inside of here. And to get it to work, we have to use that one large shard. And now the bee should be able to be accelerated. Oh, nice. And there we go. We have all of these combs going in. Now there is nowhere yet for the things from the combs to go into. When I just put time fluid in here. Oh no. I've got to get all of that time fluid back out, but there we go. The centrifuge, it's not sending anywhere. I don't actually know why, but I'm probably going to have to reroute things and make sure everything is getting sent properly. Oh yeah, and of course it's not going to work because I totally forgot to shift right click and then set my hive. Yeah, because this is a new hive position. Now whenever I push it in, there we go. You can see it's now depositing. Everything is working right. And this produces these tiny chaos fragments. Boy, are they tiny. But whenever we have enough of them, they get combined into normal shards. So we take a look at the chaos shards. I guess we can grab a few of these. These get combined up into small, and then the small gets combined up into large, and so on and so forth. Same way as if we were breaking these down. Oh boy, and now with all of this ready to go, we have infinite chaos shards. I can just accelerate this anytime I need more of them. And now we're sort of free to do whatever we want and make the rest of the bees and have them constantly in supply. So getting 5 of these bees made up is my next task. I mean, is 5 bees necessary? Probably not, but do I want to do it? 100%. And there's the last bee done. Oh my goodness, all of those bees ready to go. 4 of these beautiful things. I mean, all of these, by the way, are the same, right? Ooh, this one's not high productivity. We probably want to make them all high. Just simply grab one of the samples out of here, and I can just, add that to a treat. And we can actually get this guy upgraded, right? So there we go. High, throw that on there, and then just catch them all. And we are ready to go. Look at that. All of the bees inside of this hive. This is going to be so much. That's right there, what I would call basically completing the section that requires Draconic Evolution. Now, our tools can get even more powerful. We can actually upgrade these to the Chaotic tier, and even the upgrades inside of them in the modules can upgrade to Chaotic tier. I will say though, and I just tested this, if you do craft like your bow, for example, into Chaotic tier, it is going to wipe everything in here, including all of your gems. It will remove all of the apotheosis stuff. So if you do have this apotheosize, I guess you could say this is the best way to do it. You can actually remove your gems. I just want to mention this. I know it's towards the end of the video, but if you use the sigil of withdrawal and you put your tool inside of a smithing table, it'll actually remove those gems. So you at least won't lose the gems, but you'll definitely lose out on the fact that it is set up with apotheosis. So I'm actually going to leave it the way it is for right now, but because we really don't have anything else to fight that like needs the extra damage. Like, I don't think there's any reason for us to have a bow that is even more powerful than this. But I mean, there's always the idea, right, of how much further can we push this? Because you can probably keep pushing it indefinitely. And it's just going to require significantly more time to do all of those crafts. But hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you learned something about Draconic Evolution and about how you can actually take on the dragon. I think that is about as good of an explanation of the dragon fight as I could possibly produce, and hopefully it gets you through this dragon fight. And if it did, be sure to click that subscribe button and give this video a huge thumbs up. And without further ado, it's time to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Chaos over on the Discord. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You absolute boss. And guys, be sure to get your world download if you are also a supporter of any tier, and get your world download today, all handled over in the Discord. You can find the link to that down in the description below. I appreciate you guys. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.